Lamar Jackson is not a big game player. Lamar Jackson is to blame for every single drive, is to blame for the interception and the fumble. Reason why he's blamed for every single drive: hold the ball down for too long, got sacked, kicked out of field goal range. In today's episode, we cover both NFL championship games, including the Detroit Lions choke job.
I understand that was your philosophy all year. Go for it, be aggressive, have this underdog mentality. But dude, you're in the championship game. You're up by a lot. How do you choke this?
And we discuss coaches to replace Jurgen Klopp. It's Xavi Alonso. I'm gonna be mind blown if it's anyone else.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR podcast.
Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe.
As always, make sure you guys follow our socials link down below. Audio listeners, download it. Whatever platform you guys use, rate it and review it as well. Before we continue, we're just gonna two things. One, we'll be dropping a video this weekend, NHL tier list. We're at the All-Star break. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But most importantly, we dropped another guest analyst video. Finally talk some combat, UFC, boxing, etc. with
Nick Baldwin.
Nick Baldwin of The Score. So you could make sure you guys follow him on Twitter or X, whatever you guys want to call it, or if you have the Score app under the MMA tab, just check out for Nick Baldwin's work. Make sure you guys check it out. It's already out. Without further ado, though, let's get right into it. NFL. We're finally have our Super Bowl matchup, but before we talk about the Super Bowl, let's talk about the bigger game with the Chiefs-Ravens.
I mean, the Super Bowl is the biggest game. So
okay, yeah, the way I worded that.
Yeah. Chiefs-Ravens. First of all, it was lackluster in my opinion.
100%.
Definitely did not live up to the hype as the game itself. And we'll start off with the Chiefs side just because we'll start off with the winners. Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
We were wrong.
Yeah, we were wrong for sure. But Patrick Mahomes has been good this year. Obviously, wide receiver is one thing, but he hasn't been Patrick Mahomes. We could agree with that until the playoffs started. Travis Kelce was pretty terrible, in the regular season, up until the postseason. And Travis Kelce definitely does fight for his right to party because he put on an absolute show, especially in the first half. Mahomes did Mahomes things. And when we thought a Ravens defense that was so clutch, so, physical, so good, got cooked, especially in that first half.
Mainly the first half. We'll talk about the Ravens in a sec. Chiefs, for me, obviously Travis Kelce balled out. That was your key thing. That's what you wanted him to do. Marcus Valdes-Scantling didn't drop the late pass for a potential run by the Ravens to close out a game maybe. But shout out goes to the defense. Steve Spagnuolo, I don't know how he's not getting head coaching opportunity or head coaching interviews or whatever, unless he doesn't want to. Outside of this year, when do you ever think of the Chiefs defense outside of this year? Not really, right? And when it comes to the playoffs, everybody's like, oh, the biggest concern is going to be their defense. The biggest concern is their defense. He always finds a way to get the big game, right? He has 3 losses in the playoffs ever since he took over. Essentially, I think, at least under the Patrick Mahomes
0-2 against Brady, and then 1 loss against Joe Burrow. So he's 1-1 against Burrow, 0-2 against Brady. Those are his 3 losses.
Essentially, he shows up to big games, and he did exactly what he did this time. Again, we'll talk about the Ravens in a second, but if those are the 2 factors, that was gonna help him win the game. That's exactly what happened. L'Jarius Sneed made probably the save of the postseason, the biggest play of the postseason so far. And the Chiefs are back. Now I could officially say it.
And they're back, but in a very different way. When they were cooking, when they always make the AFC Championship game, Patrick Mahomes has to go out and put up 30 points. That's how they win the games. 28 plus at least. That's how they won all their postseason games. He's won a postseason game with 17 points.
Yeah.
And that all the credit goes to the defense. They took away the Ravens' run game. Their number one option is the run game. That's how they play. That's their identity on the offense. Completely shut that down. 85 rushing yards, I think, was their top.
Also because they didn't run the ball much either, which we'll get to in a second.
That's also a thing with obviously that's a point, but like honestly, I believe that they shouldn't have gave up the wrong game. You should never give up, but they got stuffed, right? That doesn't take away from the fact like the Chiefs stuffed them so many times that the Ravens got scared of running the ball, right? And obviously, you said L'Jarius Sneed, mentioned Chris Jones as well, absolute stud. Karl Loftus with a couple big, huge sacks as well. They did this without their main spy. My important piece on defense was Willie Gay because he was going to be the spy on Lamar Jackson. He wasn't there. Nick Bolton, absolute stud linebacker. This defense, absolutely incredible, and is the main reason, the backbone of this team for this year has been the Chiefs defense, where we have never thought that would ever happen in the Patrick Mahomes era.
We'll bring the Chiefs up later when we finish the NFC Championship game, just a very early Super Bowl preview, because obviously we'll be doing that for the next, week or so. But the Ravens, the main topic of this video, Lamar Jackson, is he a big-time player? Now, obviously, you had more stakes. I wouldn't say I was 50-50 biased. Obviously, I wasn't biased at all. Like, I was a neutral. You, obviously, being a Lamar Jackson fan, were rooting for Lamar to go crazy. I'm pretty sure half the world was going for Lamar because A, they don't want the Chiefs to win again. B, division rivals. C, the whole Taylor Swift factor, which I'm not even going to get into because I think that's just stupid by a lot of the fans, NFL fans side of things. But Lamar Jackson, I would give him about 80% of the blame. Majority of the blame goes to him. I'm not saying it doesn't. The rest of the blame does go to the first half. Defense wasn't the greatest. The other is the Todd Monken getting away from the run game, what helped them against the Texans. And the unnecessary penalties, right? Like a lot of stupid penalties, whether it be roughing the passer, whether it be the taunting, whether it be that offside Roquan Smith did it, but instead of going offside on purpose, he just domed the guy. So you got unnecessary roughness penalty there.
Yeah, that one.
All that.
That was just frustration.
Yeah.
One. Number two, it didn't matter if it was 5 yards or 15 yards. Obviously, you would prefer the 5 yards, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. Like, it was a smart play by Roquan. I guess he just saw his opportunity and just took it. But don't get me wrong, you were supposed to do it less aggressive, not that aggressive. You're supposed to
just step offside.
Literally, yeah, exactly.
You touch the guy. Right?
No, you gotta step like enough that they don't even snap it as well either, right? So you gotta he made sure the play wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
So that was the main thing. So I'd rather have him do that and then be offside and they snap it still because you can still snap it. But the thing there, 90% of the blame goes to Lamar. The rest of it goes to
the penalties and Monken.
The penalties and Monken. I do not blame the Chase defense at all. I don't care what the hell they did in the first half or not. You held Patrick Mahomes to 17 points.
I said that they have a little percentage. That's it.
The only percentage is probably a couple stupid penalties they took, but honestly, it was only one. It was more on the offensive side. You held Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce to 70 points when they were cooking. You did your job. All of this blame for the Ravens is on the offense and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is honestly, I would rather have seen the Bills play the Chiefs again in the AFC Championship. I would just rather have a rematch because the Ravens' performance was so disappointing that like they gave us hope, right? They're like, okay, this team has no weakness. They're doing this, and this. But at the end of the day, one team's been there, done that, and you could clearly tell the team that hasn't done that is the Baltimore Ravens. Stupid penalties, stupid mistakes. Zay Flowers shouldn't have extended the ball. Yes, Snead made a good play, but he shouldn't have extended the ball.
But before that,
the taunting. Lamar Jackson never played in a championship game. Showed he fumble, interception. Yeah, it was self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah.
As much you give credit to the Chiefs, but the Ravens lost their game.
So obviously, I'm not sitting here saying Lamar Jackson is not at blame at all, because in the second half it ended up on him anyways. I'm not giving Lamar credit on this. I'm saying even when the Ravens defense did their job, he got down the field pretty well, right? Because the fumble happened in the first half, so that was a different play. And that was the first half.
It's still a turnover.
No. I'm saying I'm talking about the second half specifically. The pick was clearly on him. The taunting he can't control. The Zay Flowers stuff he couldn't control. Like he made plays. Like obviously the touchdown pass was insane. The first half touchdown, right? he made a great play he got passing yards and receiving yards, which I was hoping he could run all the way. If he almost got that too. But for me, Lamar, is he a big time player? From what we have seen, no. Clearly, like he played amazing against the Texans. Don't get me wrong, but that's the Texans. Against the Bills and the Chiefs, when it mattered most, you fumbled. Fumbled the bag type of thing, not actually fumbled. When it came to the Bills, fine, a little bit of an excuse. He didn't have the weapons. He didn't have the right play calling, whatever. You let it pass. This one, he has no excuse, right? I do believe Tom Bunkin, because I don't know why you went away from the run game. Gus was cooking for certain plays as well. But on the Lamar side of things, he made some plays. Like the sad thing with this game was it wasn't out of reach. You took the sack, whether that be on the O-line or yourself. You lost the field goal. Justin Tucker could have made that a one possession game right there. You threw the interception. You could have made it a one possession game. Zay Flowers fumbled the ball. That should have been a touchdown.
Yeah.
But at the minimum, a field goal. So you lost 9 points at the very minimum.
The gist of this story,
assuming Justin Tucker makes the kicks, which I think he would,
was too many self-inflicted wounds by the Ravens. Number one main person is Lamar Jackson. Yes, you have a point of they drove down the field. Doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying.
I know. I'm not saying that, but at the end of the day, it does not matter when you're driving down those many yards and getting 0 points, right? We said this against the Rams. Lions. This is how the Rams lost in the wildcard weekend. Ravens did the same thing in the second half. Lamar Jackson is to blame for every single drive, is to blame for the interception and the fumble. Reason why he's blamed for every single drive: hold the ball down for too long, got sacked, kicked out of field goal range. I'm sorry, Lamar. I love you, but this one's on you.
Yeah, obviously I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying.
But I'm picking one guy, and it's him.
Yeah, same here, because he is the quarterback. He got the money. And listen, obviously we have relatives. We had, first of all, shout out our cousin. We're chache. So we were at their house. We obviously were talking to some relatives. And, I was the one guy, when it came to the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, I always talked about the experience side of things. And I would say I would side with that a little bit. This is where I hate the Chiefs, because they literally give us no reason this year to pick them for whatever, right? It was just strictly because if you want to just go off Patrick Mahomes' history. Over the regular season, they were not it. Last year, at least, they started off bad, but they ended up good, and the reason why they won the Super Bowl. So, and all that, plus the Ravens actually looked like they got over the hump slightly. They had the weapons. They had the play calling. I don't know why all that went away. But Lamar's case, he needs to match up with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, because at least when the Bills lost, you can't blame Josh Allen to pretty much any of it.
And Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Because Josh Allen went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes twice. Joe Burrow has went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes twice. Lamar Jackson looked like a child against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
But here's my thing, right? I still am a believer. So far, he's not a big-time player. I'm not saying that. Those are the facts. But do I believe in the dude, and do I think he could win a Super Bowl in the future? 100%. Because I feel like Todd Monken will learn from this, because this is also, his first time in the NFL as OC, because he should learn from what he made the mistakes. I feel like, okay, outside of OBJ, maybe they upgrade that, maybe they bring OBJ back. They have the weapons now. I feel like Lamar should learn from this, because at the end of the day, he made step-by-step progression, at least, whenever he's healthy. And on top of that, there's no reason in the regular season, to be clear, he's one of the winningest quarterbacks ever since he came into the league, right? And for me, the question is he gonna be a big time player? I believe so. You're the more Lamar fan. You could.
The thing is this: he is one of the most winning. Probably has a very high winning percentage in the regular season. Complete opposite in the playoffs. He's in the 20%.
Yeah.
So, do I believe in a big time player? I feel like if I say yes, I might be a little bit biased, but I would agree with you still, just because he can make plays, and the issue is he didn't make plays in the championship game.
I feel like he'll learn from it. I definitely do that. John Harbaugh will help with that. Obviously, we have a relative. I'm sure he's watching this because he said he will. Thinks he's a running back. I completely disagree vehemently with that, because there's no way he would have made it this far then. If that's
true.
Case.
But you have that case for this game, because he has been this game he overthrew everyone. Which wasn't accurate. The interception doesn't help. You could say that for this game, but if you're saying that as his like career, it's not.
No, yeah, no. Like
Yeah.
I think that for me that's just hater talk, and I'm not.
Yeah, no.
He's not the only one I'm referring to. There's other people. Like I completely.
He's a Steelers fan, so obviously he's gonna
True.
say it as well.
But I completely disagree with that take whatsoever. There's 0% chance because you can't tell me Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, even the top end wide receivers will be doing this. Yeah, this game, sure, he may look like a running back, but he still made big time plays this game. Not big time plays like
no, he didn't.
No, okay, I'm wrong word.
Yeah.
He made plays happen. Did it end in a touchdown? That's a different story. I'm talking about the play to Zay Flowers was big.
Yeah.
Right? That was still a big time play at the moment.
It's not big time. It's a play. He made plays.
Again, it was a big play at that moment. It was that on that specific drive, it was not his fault because Zay Flowers did what he did. But I'm just saying he still made plays. He still showed the touchdown was a big time play. Right? Outside of that, like listen, I still believe in Lamar Jackson. I'm like I said, you're the bigger fan than me, but I'm not gonna coddle him and baby him saying it's not his fault. It is. This time he has no excuses. I'm not gonna defend him in any case whatsoever because this loss was on him because QBs find a ways to win. Patrick Mahomes did exactly that these last 2 weeks against Josh Allen and against Lamar Jackson, right? And I hope, let's see, next year at this time, whenever we're recording this, if they even make the playoffs, which I think they should, it might change my mind, right? Or I'll be proven right. I think you're agreeing with me slightly that you still believe.
Yeah,
in the big time
you could predict that, but at the moment,
obviously,
obviously we're predicting yes, but at the moment he is not, and at the moment Josh Allen gave me a heartbreaking loss. Lamar Jackson was just a disappointment.
But you agree that you still believe in the dude that he can.
Yeah, I said yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it from the. Hopefully they learn from this. That's all. It's a learning lesson. Todd Monken. You might be the problem with this team though is you might be losing McDonald, your defensive coordinator. Which
and then also teams around you are gonna be better.
Yeah, that
right?
too. But like I said, we believe in Lamar still. That's just our conclusion. This is on him, and
we'll move on to the NFC.
And I have takes in this. But we'll start off with a winner.
The San Francisco 49ers have proven in this playoffs, along with Kyle Shanahan, that they can play from behind. Brock Purdy has come in and played his best football when he was losing, when it mattered most, and helped carry this team to a comeback wins in back-to-back games. Yes, he has Christian McCaffrey. Yes, he has Brandon Ayuk. Yes, he has Kittle. But you can't tell. Nobody could say that Brock Purdy was not the best player.
Pausing you there. You said all that, right? Patrick Mahomes had Tyreek Hill. Patrick Mahomes had Travis Kelce. Patrick Mahomes had Andy Reid. Patrick Mahomes had a decent O-line when he started his career.
Yeah.
Right? So people that are not crediting... I'm talking about beginning of the year Patrick Mahomes as well. Career Patrick Mahomes. People that are discrediting Brock Purdy at this point, no. Because when you saw him, when he couldn't make the throw, he made plays with his legs. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes. I'm saying it was Patrick Mahomes-esque when he fought for yards and got the first downs, whatever he needed to do, right? So you can't, like how we give Patrick Mahomes all the credit in his rookie, quote-unquote rookie year, because it was his second year technically on paper. You can't say Brock Purdy, just because he's 100, whatever pick it was, Mr. Irrelevant, I think it's 199 or whatever it is. You can't take away what he has done, right? And you agree with that 100%, so we're not going to go at it at that. But those people that are saying like,
the pick is like 260 something, by the way, not 199.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
We're like way off.
Tired. We had soccer games yesterday. But, yeah, like, it's bullshit. Like, if you're going to say Brock Purdy doesn't deserve any credit for this, it's just he's being carried on. He ain't Jimmy Garoppolo. With Jimmy Garoppolo, you were literally winning with Tevin Coleman and whoever your other running back was at the time.
With Jimmy Garoppolo, don't get me wrong, Jimmy Garoppolo has done well with the Niners.
Yeah.
Incredible Niners career. They would have been eliminated. If not Packers, they would have been eliminated by the Lions.
They would have been eliminated by the Packers, 100%.
Yeah, so if not the Packers, who knows, it might have squeaked by just because they always beat the Packers, right, in the playoffs. With Jimmy Garoppolo, they did that against Aaron Rodgers as well. So, Brock Purdy is that guy, and we cannot complain that in 2 years, he has made an NFC Championship game, and now he's made a Super Bowl.
And an injury away from possibly.
Yeah, and if he didn't get injured against the Eagles, he could have made 2 straight Super Bowls. We have a rematch of the Chiefs and Niners. The Niners defense, very concerning in the first half. again, played well in the second half. Niners overall, they're a good team. They're a solid team. Don't get me wrong. But you got to play a full 60 minutes if you want to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, because you're not going to rely on Brandon Ayuk catching a ball off someone's face mask.
Exactly.
Against that defense. We'll preview that in a second. Niners wise, yeah, like you said, they could prove they could win from behind. They got the weapons. Can they continue this? Let's see, right? But I got issues with the Lions. I do. So we got to talk about it. We were almost proven right that we were more confident in the Lions than the Chiefs. Obviously, the Chiefs ended up destroying. I'm not saying that, but the Lions part of things, we were almost right. And the way that game started, Goff was playing well. Your running game was going crazy. You're up
24/7. 24/7 at half.
At half, yeah. And everything looked good. You got MMG freaking going crazy at the stadium and everything like that because he's a Lions fan. You got
Eminem.
You got Eminem freaking middle fingering people in the crowd. Good vibes, everything. But it all went downhill. Credit to the Niners for doing what they did. But this game is strictly on Dan Campbell. I don't care what anybody has to say. Both of those going for fourth down, I don't care. Both of them are bullshit. Both of them should not happen. I don't care. Zero excuses whatsoever. For sure the second one, but even the first one, because you're telling me that you could have been up 3 possessions. You were not 4th and 1, I believe. I think you were 4th and like 2 or 3 at that time. Am I mistaken with that?
I don't remember. I know the second one was definitely 4th and 3. Do not remember the first one.
Okay, I don't remember being it because they threw the ball.
I think it could have been 4th and 1.
But either way, like you could have been up 3 possessions. And guess what happened because you missed that opportunity? The Niners went down and scored. Then Jahmyr Gibbs, I believe, fumbled.
Yeah.
And then they scored off that and it's a tie game. At least, let's just say you hit the field goal and they did exactly that. You're still up, which means you put Brock Purdy and that team in a come from behind situation. You couldn't do that. I don't care. I understand that was your philosophy all year. Go for it. Be aggressive. Have this underdog mentality. But, dude, you're in the championship game. You're up by a lot. How do you choke this? Like, there's no excuse for you to go for it on both of those plays. The second one, me and you agree, and you'll bring that up in a second. But you would have been up 3 possessions. Yeah. I would understand if it was a 10-point game. Fine. But, because it still would have been a 2-possession game. But 3-possession game, you put up, and it was like midway through the third. You could have put all the pressure on the Niners there.
It would have been 3 possession if they're up by 10 still.
No.
Or like if they're up, no, they're up by 17.
Yeah.
So you're saying
if it was a 10-point game.
So you're saying it was a 10-point game.
I would understand it a little bit more, but not at a 14-point game because that would have definitely put it, because like 10 point would have been a 13 point. This one, no excuse. They should have done the field goal. You can't have this underdog. I understand you love it, but you're also going to lose your fan base. This is how coaches get fired.
All right, Dan Campbell, first of all, you're not getting fired.
No, I'm saying
this. Yeah, no, I'm just saying you're not getting fired. Incredible job by the Lions and Dan Campbell all year. Giving props where it is. Second one, I 100% agree with you. The first one, I probably 85% agree with you. The 85% coming from, yes, you would have 3 possession lead. The other 15% is, the guy had 2 hands on the ball right in his chest. I don't care who you are in the league. I don't care if you're freaking Jalen Reagor, Nelson Aguilar, or freaking Tyreek Hill. When the ball is like right here, 2 hands on it, or even if it was like this or this, I'm catching that ball. How are you not catching it? I don't get that. That's number one. That's the only thing I had knock on that too. For that first play. Second one, 100% agree with you. You got to tie the game. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that guy, I think with Josh Reynolds, he didn't do his job as an NFL wide receiver.
Listen.
I don't care. You had 2 hands on the ball. You have to make that play. That call, yes, Dan Campbell does deserve obviously blame for going for it on 4th down. I'm going to make that play 50-50, 50% on Dan Campbell, 50% on Josh Reynolds, because I don't give a damn who the hell you are. I'm expecting you to catch the ball too. I'm not saying you're shit, but like I'm expecting you to catch the ball. I'm expecting every single person that can walk to catch that ball.
See, listen, here's the thing. 2 things are going to be right. He should have made the play, for sure. But it should not have got to that point. Because like I said, I still two things could be right. He could have made the play. I would tip my cap off to him. But I still, before the play went down, I'm like, why are you going for this?
Yeah,
I was going.
That's fair. That's fair. Don't get me wrong, but nobody's complaining if you caught that, and it should have been caught.
That. I tip my cap off to it.
Nobody will complain.
As a coach, you also got to realize you're in a hostile environment as well. You're not at home. I would understand it even more if you were at home. You're in a hostile environment, and on top of that, like there's a risk factor of him dropping the ball. No matter what, there's going to be a risk of him dropping the ball, and that's exactly what happened, and you ruined it.
Yeah.
That play call should not happen. You cannot have that. You should have made that a 3-possession game. Sure, I'll agree with you slightly. He should have made the play because it was a...
Slightly? No, you have to agree 100% that he should have made that play.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you that you should have made the play. I don't agree with you that he should have went for it. I know you said 85%. Yeah. But it was a good play call. I give Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell credit for the play call, mainly Ben Johnson. But
give credit Goff for the throw. Goff's numbers got a little bit skewed. Goff was great all game.
Goff was great, but
Goff. It's not even Josh Reynolds. Amon-Ra St. Brown dropped a couple balls. Sam Laporta dropped one. I think Sam Laporta one was a little bit tough, so I won't blame him. Amon-Ra dropped a ball. Josh Reynolds dropped another one.
Yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs fumble. As much as it is on Dan Campbell, I give him 90% of the blame. 10% of the drop passes, not executing as the players. Gibbs fumble, Reynolds multiple drop catches. Amon-Ra, you're number one. If I'm yelling at Diggs,
Travis Kelce numbers in the first half.
I know. If I'm yelling at Diggs, how the hell are you dropping that?
Yeah.
Amon-Ra, you're in the same category as Diggs,
yeah,
right? And you got to make that play as well.
So that's the first big decision. I don't care what anybody says. Stupid decision. Second one, let's talk about that a little bit more because we both agree on it. You can't have an underdog mentality there. You cannot. You could have tied the game. Yes, you would have given the ball to Purdy's hands. I get it. Or Christian McCaffrey.
You were getting the ball back, right? Like
it was enough
you got
time.
the ball back, right? They went down and scored a touchdown. You scored a touchdown again. You lost by 3. Those were the 3 points.
Yeah.
Those were the 3 points that mattered more.
But even then, it's very situational because you could have been up 17. Who knows what could have happened? Whatever the case may be. But
the thing is, I don't
zero excuse for you to tie the game. Not to tie the game there.
Yeah, no, I was really surprised. I'm like, yes, obviously it is your philosophy the whole entire year. It is who you are as a team. It is who you are as a coach. But the thing is, it was 4th and 3. You're down by 3. You don't get it. You have to pray the Niners don't get a touchdown.
Your only excuse is...
You have to pray the Niners don't get a touchdown, and the Niners got a touchdown. You went back and drove down and got a touchdown yourself. You proved that your offense in that game could play against that defense, and you did that all of the first half, and then the fourth quarter as well. The third quarter was pretty dreadful, and that's the thing. I don't understand that one at all.
Your only excuse is if your kicker was injured.
It was a backup kicker as well. Huh? Like they had a second. Their actual kicker wasn't kicking.
Okay, but either way, your kicker for that game was injured, or he missed like 3 field goals prior to that point.
Yeah.
You hit a field goal right before half, which a couple of minutes before half, too, right? Like a minute or so before.
It was our last drive. It was like 5 seconds.
Yeah, but either way, like people were saying, like if you did that right decision there, you could have had you could have made it a.
Honestly, that one, personally, like obviously, I'm not saying personally I would have went for it. I would understand if you went for that one at halftime, right? Try to get a kill shot in right before half.
Yeah.
Understand that one. This one, I can't come up. The second one, I can't come up with excuse. The third one, which was the game tying one, I'm befuddled.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
And you said it yourself after the game. You might not have this opportunity again. And listen, you have the whole fan base loving you. In one moment, this, like you said it in your post game. You said it whatever. That you may never have this opportunity again, and if that was the case, then you blew it, because I don't expect the Eagles to be this bad, which we'll get to their coaching news in a second. I don't expect you obviously expect the Niners to be back. I think NFC South, some teams might progress. You have your own division. You have Green Bay on the come up. So,
okay, the thing is this. I'm still fully confident the Lions are making the playoffs next year.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so
as of right now.
Honestly, I don't as long as I don't think they're gonna lose anyone.
Free agencies are.
Yeah, no. If they're able to bring their team back, and I don't care what happened in any other teams adding or losing, I'm fully confident.
I'm gonna disagree with you slightly.
What?
Ben Johnson might be out. So who's gonna be your play caller? That was a massive. If it could be a massive difference.
That could be a massive difference.
We saw what happened with Dable and Dorsey, right? And then on top of that,
I mean, the Bills still made the playoffs.
we don't know how good Goff is going to be next
The
year.
Bills still made the playoffs.
Yeah, but
Goff has been good 2 years in a row. I'm confident
That's
in Goff.
fine, but it's still always going to be. I still personally have question marks. But this game, I give Goff credit. His numbers don't look good. It was not on him. But if you lose Ben Johnson, I don't know who could replace him on the top of my head, unless someone internal that we don't know about. Right?
Yeah, I still have heavy confidence in the Lions as well. That they will make the playoffs again. I'm not saying they're going to do anything in the playoffs. It could be a wild card.
But yeah, that's
it could
my point.
It could be division title.
They can make the playoffs all they want.
Yeah.
This was their opportunity to get to the Super Bowl.
The thing is this: you make the playoffs, you always have a chance of playing for the Super Bowl.
For sure.
So I don't think the Lions are completely out. I think Dan Campbell, yes.
He's not getting fired. I'm not
saying that. I think Dan Campbell lied. You do have another chance. You're a young team. You have another chance.
I don't think he lied either.
Yeah.
Because he's like you said.
Yeah, I know you don't get it every year. Don't get me wrong. But
he's saying that
I'm saying as a squad, you're a young team still. I still have confidence in that team that they could make an NFC championship again under the Dan Campbell era.
But I do agree with him that this could be his only opportunity.
That part's true too. Yeah,
so
that can be true.
That can be true.
But
so I don't think he lied.
Huh?
Like you said, lied. I don't think he's lying. You might believe it or not. That's analyzation is a different point. But I don't think he's lying.
Yeah, I probably should have said I don't believe it as much.
Yeah. So
because at the same time you said I don't regret my decision.
Yeah,
so
but
I don't know what the hell to believe then.
I really hope next year, even during the regular season, you kind of take that underdog mentality away because you're no longer the underdog. Like you said, I agree with you. I think they should, especially if they keep Ben Johnson, assuming he doesn't get a job next year.
Well, if they're keeping Ben Johnson, they're winning the division again.
Yeah, so then I have no issues. I think you guys should be able to compete again. If you lose Ben Johnson, there's question marks, but I hope you just learn from this. I hope you don't have this underdog mentality every time because listen, yeah, you on paper you were the underdog this game, but during that moment you were the favorites. Especially during the moment of the first field goal or the second, the first, fourth, and whatever they went on.
Yeah, so that wraps up the NFC Championship game.
So let's talk about Super Bowl very quickly.
Quickly preview. We're not gonna spoil too much. Yeah,
but
we got Chiefs, Niners. Quick aspects. Both teams. It's gonna be a tough pick. It's guaranteed gonna be a tough pick of who you're gonna predict as well.
There for a second. Right now, the Niners are the early favorites. Do I agree with that? Sure. Yeah, slightly I agree with it. But looking at this playoffs, though, okay, I said I agree with it based on the regular season intact, right? But if you're just looking strictly the playoffs, the Chiefs look more comfortable in their wins than the Niners did because the Niners came back from behind. It will be tough for the Niners to come back from behind against this Chiefs defense. This is the way they're playing.
Yeah, so the thing is this. We're looking at the teams itself. They both have great defenses. They both have great offenses. I do believe the fact that if the Niners are down in this game, they won't come back. If they got to play like how the Bills did, where they're going back and forth, right? One thing that the Bills proved that this Chiefs defense isn't completely, God. They're amazing, but they're not completely God tier.
Yeah.
Right? And the Bills and the Josh Allen proved that, right? Because at the end of the day, Tyler Bass missed a field goal. Brock Purdy can cook this defense, I believe. But at the same time, you can't let it out of reach like how the Ravens were really struggling from behind. Josh Allen kept it a one-score field goal touchdown game the whole time. The Ravens didn't. The Niners need to do the same thing as the Bills, where they got to keep it with that. Because if they fall down 2 possessions, I think it's done. Because at the end of the day, Mahomes and Kelsey, doesn't matter how bad their offense is or whoever else, if you have Mahomes and Kelsey, yes, the Niners defense is great, don't get me wrong. They can cook anyone as well.
Early predictions right now.
I have no fucking clue. I have no fucking clue,
listen,
bro.
As much as I want to see Christian McCaffrey win, and as much as I want Brock Purdy to shut people up, like I said, I don't care because I'm 50-50 for this, for sure. Because the only guy to compete with Tom Brady as the GOAT, even though he did beat Mahomes twice, is Patrick Mahomes. Right?
Yeah.
And the only way he could be considered the GOAT, because I think he is the most talented player we've ever seen. At least I've ever seen. And I get it, we're Peyton Manning fans.
He is more talented than Brady. That is for sure.
But for him to catch up to Brady, he needs the rings. and this could be ring number 3. So I don't care for that reason. At the same time, I'm not going to be mad if the Niners win. The same thing with Lamar. I wouldn't have been mad if the Ravens won, right? People have their personal agendas, whether they like the Chiefs or not, or the whole celebrity factor or not. But if I'm leaning right now, I might be going with the Chiefs slightly, as of right now. But again,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say. But we're gonna hold a Super Bowl preview there, just because we have 2 weeks for that.
yeah,
And yeah, we'll move on to some NFL
Hey,
off-season news.
one more game left.
One more game left. And it could have been Chiefs-Lions rounded off and made a full circle
Both
moment.
games were similar, except
Yeah.
one team ended up doing the comeback, and the Ravens, even though they had opportunities for the comebacks, didn't. That's all. They
No, it wasn't similar.
No, but like the
One game was
scorelines were
actually
similar.
no, they weren't. 17-7 to like freaking 31 to
No, but
28.
my point is, the Ravens
How is that similar?
No, because the Ravens had opportunities to do it, but they just didn't. That's my saying.
Yeah, because they sucked.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
game.
I'm saying.
But yeah, let's
it
move
was
on.
Similar.
Let's move on to the NFL offseason news, starting off with Raheem Morris being the Atlanta Falcons head coach. And if it wasn't Belichick, I'm happy with Morris. I'm really happy with Raheem Morris.
Yeah, maybe even people didn't want Belichick because of the age factor. Like I said, I didn't think Belichick would be a good fit, and then a lot of teams. I just wanted this team to go a younger coach, or like go a younger approach, whether that been Ben Johnson or with Raheem Morris. So I was happy with either. They got Raheem Morris, obviously, and it's not even only that he gets a second chance, right? Hopefully it works out well for him. He was obviously regarded last year by the Colts and other teams as well. Did a great job with the Rams. Obviously has the Super Bowl experience. He was on the Pivot with Ryan Clark and his podcast from ESPN, and he shared like, listen, the Tampa Bay opportunity, I believe it was Tampa Bay. He's like, I deserve to be fired, right? Like, there's no way you can't say that because I'm, the racial things aside, I was not good enough, right? And now he's learned. I hope it goes well. You're obviously a secondary Atlanta fan just because of Julio Jones, and you're gonna stick by that.
Yeah.
completely.
The thing with this, Raheem Morris is he has an incredible defense this year. All right, a Falcons defense was definitely low key underrated as well. Jesse Bates was incredible this year, absolutely incredible. AJ Terrell is a stud cornerback. Jeff Okudah had a decent year for obviously him being trolled for being a 3rd overall pick. He kind of had a low key bounce back year. Grady Jarrett's there. Obviously, he's a little bit older. Same with Calais Campbell. Like, the Falcons' defensive unit is pretty good. If you get the right offensive guys and a quarterback, this Falcons team can take a jump.
So speaking of the offense, stick with the Rams. Rams kind of, but stick with the Falcons. They're hiring Rams pass game coordinator Zach Robinson as their new offensive coordinator. One of the most popular interviews on the OC circuit. Robinson was Morris's top choice. And this is massive because obviously the great work he did in the Rams. But to your point, they have 3 studs in Bijan, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. The question mark is their QB, whether it be you trade for, I don't think Kyler Murray's going to be available for him, but more realistically, Justin Fields.
Russ or Justin Fields.
Or you draft whoever you do, whether you move up and
where are they? I think they're a little bit.
I think they're at 9.
Just still in the top 10, right?
Yeah, I think they're like at 9.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance you could even trade up.
Or someone could fall to them, like a Penix, if they want to go
Yeah.
through him. But either way, you could get a young QB, mold him with this young core, right? And we've seen QB like Brock Purdy, literally himself, who was Mr. Irrelevant, do what he did as a rookie and his second year. I love it. Atlanta, as long as hopefully it works out, can be a scary team, not in just the near future, and an up and coming team this year, kind of like what the Detroit Lions kind of did.
Yeah, if they could. This offseason is very key for them. Depending on what they do, they got to figure out some stuff. Obviously, if you're dead set on going for a rookie quarterback, I would add many free agents right now. Definitely, especially defensively, try to get Raheem Morris as many pieces.
8th, if you're wondering.
Yeah, so if Raheem Morris get his many defensive pieces set, offensively, I think you're fine. Your O-line's definitely decent, good enough. I think Jake Matthews and Chris Lidstrom definitely going to lead that O-line well. And obviously, you already mentioned the weapons.
Yeah, excited for this team. I really am. I think they made a lot of good moves. This could be a D'Amico-esque hire.
They still got to make those moves, though.
Yeah,
they still got to make those moves.
Offseason, D'Amico, at least the Texans made moves.
So far, step 1 we enjoy.
Yes.
You got
and that core. But
many more steps still.
Yeah. Next head coaching position filled up, which is the Carolina Panthers. They're taking Dave Canales from Tampa Bay, who was their offensive coordinator. Dave Canales is signing a 6-year contract, and I'm not surprised. Obviously, I think he did a great job with Baker last year.
100%, yeah.
Like obviously, Vrabel was out there. They interviewed with him, but yeah, give him an opportunity, right?
For Panthers, I would prefer offensive guy just because of Bryce Young. Like, don't be wrong, I would love Vrabel there, but when you have a young quarterback, I like having an offensive guy with him. And Dave Canales has done a good job with Baker, who we thought was done and dusted. Revived himself this year and proven that he is a starting quarterback in this league.
Yeah.
And obviously that offense as well. Mike Evans had an incredible year. Kate Otten was pretty solid himself. Their tight end, obviously, you have Chris Godwin, Rashad White. Good pieces on the Buccaneers offense, but Dave Canales is going to have to do that with a pretty dreadful Panthers team. And but you have Bryce Young, and you can't give up on him yet, just because there was nothing really around him.
The good news is Canales and the new Panthers GM, Dan Morgan, both worked together for the Seahawks for 7 years. So there's familiarity between them, kind of like Talkett, Rutherford, Alvin-esque. So there won't be, well, at least we don't think there will be drama in terms of like, I want this guy, what are you doing? Now, the question is Tepper. We all know that. But yeah, I think it's a good hire. Before we announce the other OC hires and the GM hire, because the only two remaining spots are the Seahawks and the Commanders, and both Ben Johnson and Mike McDonald, I believe is his name, are the highly touted ones. And they might get filled up because I think the Seahawks might be leaning McDonald, and then Washington is leaning Ben Johnson. We might not have Vrabel or Belichick in the head coaching position last year as we thought they were locks to be.
Okay, Vrabel I had more so than Belichick just because Belichick...
Older guy, I know I get
might retire.
I don't think he's retiring.
Yeah, I know, but who knows? At the end of the day, he is freaking...
It's only because the reason why I don't think he's retiring, he's only 15 wins away from being the all-time wins.
That's true, too. That's potential as well. Who knows? But... yeah, Vrabel is definitely a shocking one for sure.
Report did come out that if it wasn't Harbaugh, it would have been Vrabel. If Harbaugh said no, Jim Harbaugh, for the Chargers, it would have been Vrabel. That's what I saw. Before we go to, again, talk about the other hires very quickly, the Seahawks also have, I think, Dan Quinn as an option, but it's looking like it's going to be Mike McDonald or Ben Johnson. So, like I said, both deserve head coaching positions there. And then same thing with Washington. So we'll see how it goes. We all know Dennis Allen's probably getting fired first, so Mike Vrabel might be the next Saints head coach.
Yeah,
I'm calling that very early prediction right now. That's what I'm going to say. But head coach or offensive coordinator wise, let's start off with Philadelphia. They obviously finalized Vic Fangio, I believe, but they also filled their offensive coordinator because Brian Johnson was let go. The Eagles are expected to hire Kellen Moore, formerly of the Cowboys and the Chargers this past year. And Moore was blocked from all interviews until Jim Harbaugh was hired. Obviously, when Jim Harbaugh was hired, he quickly lands a job with Philly. He also interviewed with Cleveland. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not convinced by Kellen Moore. Obviously, he has highs and lows. I think he will work fine. I do believe that. But I won't be surprised if it's the Eagles' offense is disastrous like this past year.
Yeah, like you said, I think he didn't go crazy in the Chargers. A lot of that could be because of the injury to Justin Herbert, but we'll see.
Even before that, it wasn't the same. Herbert wasn't Herbert. This offense wasn't good. We'll be frank, this offense was not good. And Kellen Moore was the leader of that offense because Staley's a defensive coach, right? Whereas in Dallas, Mike McCarthy still has some reins. Obviously, Staley has some reins as a coach, don't be wrong. But it was Kellen Moore's offense, and the Chargers did not look good.
Yeah, so I'm not fully convinced, but it's just a wait and see process. If it doesn't work, both are gonna be gone, Sirianni and himself. But yeah, so that's there. Speaking of Cleveland, they also got their offensive coordinator. Again, another slight question mark-ish, but it's Ken Dorsey, formerly of the Bills, who just got fired. He quickly lands a job in Cleveland. to be part of Kevin Stefanski's staff. Now, I guess the difference here is Stefanski is the play caller, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So he's not going to be calling plays, unlike Kellen Moore probably will be. And so obviously Dorsey didn't have the great, especially a great year with the Buffalo Bills.
Dorsey has ups and downs, that is for sure. But another thing, like obviously James Cook was available, and what Joe Brady did with James Cook was incredible. Dorsey didn't have anyone like Chubb. Right, Chubb's gonna be coming back, and
assuming he is.
Yeah, and when Dorsey is gonna have someone like Chubb, I'll predict that Dorsey will be an advocate for running the ball, and if he isn't, it's a terrible hire.
So I think this thing will help him because he's not going to be calling plays, like I said. So we'll see.
I think he'll do fine. I have more confidence in Dorsey than I do have in Kellen Moore.
Speaking of Joe Brady, he is officially off the interim tag, which makes a lot
of sense. Yeah.
So, and the last hire, and this happened today, Chargers working to hire Ravens executive Hortiz as GM. Joe Hortiz is the director of player personnel from the Ravens. He's joining one Harbaugh. He's leaving one Harbaugh for another. Great pickup. Ravens, scouting wise, great. Like Kyle Hamilton. By the way, shout out Kyle Hamilton. We should have shouted you out earlier.
Oh yeah, no, Kyle Hamilton, man, that guy is incredible. But yeah, when you're looking at the Chargers' needs, it's obviously a lot on the defensive side. The Ravens have constructed one of the best defenses in the league, so that's a good sign there.
I just read this right now. He has been with the Ravens since 1998 and held several scouting positions throughout his executive career. He's then become, obviously, like I said, director of player personnel. So that's one, outside of maybe Philly, one of the best run franchises is Baltimore Ravens, and that's a great hire for the Chargers, which means Ed Dodds, you're still staying because of Colt.
Let's go.
I'm pretty sure. I think the Raiders already got their guy too.
Raiders got Telesco.
Yeah.
So that's the hires for GMs and coaches as of now.
Last NFL topic before we continue. The award finalists have been announced, and we're going to do a quick award prediction as we go, because we already did a lot of ours, but we might as well make it right now.
Because we have the short list.
Shortlisted. QBs.
Lamar Jackson.
MVP.
Lamar Jackson.
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy.
It's Lamar Jackson.
It will be Lamar Jackson, but my vote goes to Christian McCaffrey. But I think Lamar Jackson will win it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm going to say.
That's fair, yeah.
Say your vote, but who do you think will actually win? Offensive Player of the Year: Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott. First of all, before you say anything, I don't understand this.
Honestly,
the QBs being involved.
I can't even explain it.
Yeah,
I can't explain it. But yeah, vote Christian McCaffrey. Think we'll win Christian McCaffrey.
Same. I agree with that. Defensive Player of the Year: Deron Bland, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, TJ Watt. TJ Watt made this a conversation.
He did. My vote would go to Myles Garrett, but I just have this feeling that TJ Watt might win it.
My vote will also go to Myles Garrett, and I think TJ Watt will win it.
Why are you copying me? I'm just kidding.
It has to be.
I know, yeah, it's fair.
Okay, this is a tough one. I mean, it's easy because we think we know who's going to win it. But Offensive Rookie of the Year: Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Puka Nacua, Bijan Robinson, CJ Stroud.
My boy Josh Downs got robbed. I'm just kidding. CJ Stroud and CJ Stroud.
You're voting CJ Stroud too? I thought you were going to go Puka.
You're
a wide receiver guy, man.
I'm a wide receiver guy.
But see, this is where it gets confusing.
I'm voting Puka. What am I saying?
CJ deserves it. I'm not saying he does not deserve it at all. He absolutely deserves it. But when I read the fact that Puka broke records as a rookie is the one that kind of threw me for a loop.
I'm voting Puka, and I think it's CJ, but CJ's gonna win.
It's not unanimous though. It can't be unanimous.
It shouldn't be. It should not be.
Is MVP unanimous for you too? That's gonna be Lamar.
No, I think McCaffrey deserves votes.
Defensive Rookie of the Year: I think it's pretty straightforward, but it's Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Joey Porter Jr., Kobe Turner, Devon Witherspoon. I think it might be Will Anderson.
I think it's Will Anderson.
And I'm voting for Will Anderson.
Yeah, I think Devon Witherspoon has a shout. Obviously, Jalen Carter has a shout. Ultimately, I'll go with Will Anderson as well.
Coach of the Year: Dan Campbell, John Harbaugh, D'Amico Ryans, Kyle Shanahan, Kevin Stefanski.
My vote is Shane Steichen. because I'm voting off the short list. My vote is still Shane Steichen.
Okay, no.
But who I think will win is probably D'Amico Ryans.
And who are you gonna vote?
Shane Steichen.
No,
I'm voting off the list.
No, you're not.
I can. I'm allowed. Probably vote for freaking
It's
D'Amico.
D'Amico.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for D'Amico, everyone here deserves it, especially Stefanski too. But D'Amico should get it. As simple as that. My vote goes to D'Amico. Assistant Coach of the Year: Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Todd Monken, Jim Schwartz, Bobby Slowick. I might want to. I think the Texans might sweep this.
No, I'm not going with Texans. I think Ben Johnson will win. My vote is Jim Schwartz, though, just because I don't know what the hell he did with that defense, but he did
My
incredible.
vote is Bobby Slowick, because what he did with CJ Stroud as a rookie is insane. And I think Mike McDonald might get it.
Yeah, everyone deserves it on this one.
Yeah. And then last one, comeback player of the year: Joe Flacco, DeMar Hamlin, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, Tua Tagovailoa. Before you vote, Joe Flacco said DeMar Hamlin does deserve it. But what do you think?
Yeah, the thing is this, bro. DeMar Hamlin barely played, right? And for that reason, I'll probably vote Flacco, but I think DeMar Hamlin's gonna win. And there's no knock on DeMar Hamlin, but everyone else played, and they played at a high level. DeMar Hamlin didn't, unfortunately.
I'm going DeMar Hamlin, and I think he'll win it. I just think what he almost literally died.
Yeah, that's true.
So because of that, the fact that you even stepped on the field is a lot.
Yeah.
And within a year, usually it may take 2 years. That's why I'm going with DeMar Hamlin for that reason. I agree with Joe Flacco 100%. Otherwise, it would have been easy Joe Flacco's award.
Oh yeah.
If it wasn't for that, as much as Baker may have had an opportunity to come back.
Yeah. So those are our award predictions. We're gonna move off the NFL and move on to the NBA. All starters have been announced.
Yeah, and honestly, I have a disagreement with two, but here I loved one of them. But here's the thing: Eastern Conference, Giannis Antetokounmpo as the captain, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Damian Lillard, Tyrese Halliburton. On the Western Conference side, Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. What I loved about this, Shai got in. Because we know it's 50, 25, 25, 50 from the media. Fans, 25 players, and 25 media. So obviously Shai was below Steph, but I guess the media / players got Shai in, and I 100% agree with that. I don't think Steph deserves to be a starter this year. I also don't think LeBron should be a starter this year, but we know it's LeBron James, and he was going to get it, and he's the team captain. But even as a Laker fan, I think Anthony Davis has been the better player. I think he deserved it. I think Kawhi Leonard deserved it over him. Those are the two guys on top of my head as the forwards that deserved it. So that's my only gripe with it. But again,
it's LeBron.
It's LeBron.
You're not gonna argue. You can't
much.
argue either. It'll be more like why the hell LeBron's not in.
That's why I'm a little surprised Steph didn't get in. But I'm fine with it.
But yeah, no shit. I really have no issues with anything.
I have an issue with Damian Lillard. It should have been Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, actually, Dame Lillard, yeah.
It should have been Donovan Mitchell, or it should have been Jalen Brunson.
I would have went with Jalen Brunson.
I would have went with Donovan Mitchell doing without Darius Garland and Evan Mobley.
That's fair too.
I think that's my biggest issue. I didn't LeBron was gonna get in. I just think that was a small issue for me, and I love the fact that Shai got it.
I forgot you said Damian Lillard.
Yeah,
I would have went with Jalen Brunson.
Otherwise,
personally.
everything in the East made sense.
I would have went with Jalen Brunson personally, just because I just believe that legit he is that guy on that team. Don't get me wrong. Donovan Mitchell is that guy too. I would just edge it to Brunson by a little bit just because I love seeing. I just loved his performances this year.
Yeah, so we're I think on February 1st, so end of this week, it should be the rest of it should come out, and those are by coaches. So which means players might get snubbed. That might like a guy like Scotty Barnes.
Honestly, Scotty hasn't been that great in this last couple of weeks, so I think he might not make it.
Yeah, but I'm ready to see, because there's going to be a lot of snubs. And
yeah,
the question
also,
is, who do you take off the list? That's always going to be the question. We'll talk about that when it comes out. But before we talk about the actual thing I want to talk about during the NBA, let me just quickly get rid of the other stuff. Wes Unseld Jr. fired, but he's still part of the front office advisory position. So
you got promoted.
I don't know if that's considered a promotion.
I know. I'm just kidding.
as a head coach, posted 77-130 record. And then this season, obviously, 7-36.
Yeah, I mean,
top assistant coach Brian Keefe will serve as
the thing is this, bro. When Sunsold, I don't know how much of a chance he really had as well, right?
Team's trash.
Team's bad, right? So I say you shouldn't take any shame to this. It was just gonna happen, I guess.
The other news, very quickly, Adam Silver finalized a long-term extension. He'll be finishing off this decade, essentially.
There's one issue I have with Adam Silver. Fix the referees, please, because Max Struess, I'm so animated I can't even say his name properly, got a technical foul for handing the ball to the ref. He didn't even throw it. He underhand lob to the ref, and he got teed up for that.
Bro, I've seen Jason Tatum get teed up so many times for just bouncing the ball to himself as well.
Yeah, no, but like I think they made that an actual thing that did it.
No,
I feel like they did if you like bounce the ball or slam the ball on the ground.
Do it. That's why.
Like
Jason Tatum's the only one that gets.
I don't know. I've seen so many players get called for. I've seen so many players get called for slamming the ball. So I feel like they kind of made that one a little bit more clear. This ref should be fired. I'm sorry. Like, what did he say? He gave you the ball underhand. He didn't even throw it overhand. Underhand. You caught the ball. You were looking at the ball. It was a different story if your back was turned to it. I don't get it. Like, this ref should be fired. I don't give a shit.
I don't even know who it was. Was it the girl ref?
It was a girl ref.
Yeah. Nothing against because she's a girl.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not that.
But no, like that just shows power, right? Like we obviously saw Ben Taylor stuff. We saw the Scott Foster stuff. Like this was next level.
This is the worst call I've ever seen in my life. And obviously there's like the Saints Rams pass interference comes to mind and all this stuff. But it was just an egotistical. It was just egotistical. It was power. It was, I don't know what to describe it as, but one thing I can describe it as: complete bullshit, complete garbage, and utter disgrace to basketball. That's what I describe it as.
And I'll leave that there because there's nothing for me to add.
Exactly.
Okay, the last topic of the NBA we want to talk about might take a couple minutes here. We got more games that went high scoring. Devin Booker dropped 60 something. I think he had 29 in the first quarter. This is again on the week of Kobe's passing as well. He ended up losing the game. I think Indiana came back and
that ending of the game was pretty good. Yeah.
Luka already got the highest season high points. Just beat Embiid literally less than a week later.
Was it like a day? No,
I think so. Yeah, like
it was a day later.
A day or two or something.
It was a day later.
73 points, Luka, and I think this was the highest out of whoever got the 70s recently from Devin Booker onwards. That's the highest mark. I think he's like fourth highest if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, Wilt, Kobe.
Wilt has like 4.
Wilt, Kobe, and it was David Robinson, I believe, had 75 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, probably.
So obviously they killed it. They won. I don't know if he played the fourth quarter or not, but
I think it was close. It was decently close. So I think he played.
Yeah.
The thing with that is I had the Suns Pacers game on instead of that one just because I thought the Suns Pacers game was closer. So I actually had no idea Luka had 73 until I saw a notification after.
Because we went to our cousins too, right? So
yeah. But the thing with this is defense is pretty shit, I guess.
Because like Kobe got 81 in an era where it was like hard to get.
Like where the final score is 81 something, yeah.
And he did it like, I think he got most of his points in the second half.
He did. He had like 40, like 50 something in the second half. Yeah.
But my question to you is this, and I don't know how realistic it is. I don't know how long. Do you agree with this or disagree with it? I'm gonna say not this year. Someone will pass 100 points within the next couple of years.
Next couple of years?
Let's say 3.
I think
I'm gonna say within the next 3 years.
I think that's a little bit stretch.
Because it's still time to do.
I would say it will be in this decade, if I were to guess. But I think 3 years is a little bit of a stretch just because player resting, man. You already know how it is.
It's not even the player
like
resting.
Embiid could have gotten there, bro.
Oh, because you're saying like, I'm not player resting just because the game was so out of reach.
Exactly.
I agree with that. It has to be a close game for it to happen. Like Embiid could have gotten past. I think he would have been 81. I think 81 is realistically possible. Maybe next year, maybe even this year, it could be beaten. 100. like the reason why I'm saying it's possible, and I was listening to numbers on the board. They completely disagree with DeMar DeRozan because DeMar DeRozan said it'll happen this year, but he's like, they were saying like even getting 100 is still gonna be tough because like people are gonna start playing 5-on-1 defense on you for you not to be.
That's true too.
Like
yeah.
the Pistons Raptors situation, like
Pistons. Don't be that team. Yeah.
Don't be that team. I still think that the three ball is a huge impact. The defense isn't as crazy as it is. You might have a game where like Donovan Mitchell or Devin Booker or Trae Young, Luka, Steph Curry will play against a bad defense, and Steph Curry's a guy who might go hot from three and just.
So in the next
100.
3 years, you think it could happen?
Yes.
Which player do you predict will do it?
I might even go Victor Wembanyama.
Bro, I was gonna say him
because like he's such a like he's getting 20 points.
He's averaging
as
20
a rookie.
He's averaging
and
20.
He's on a minute restriction.
Yeah, he's averaging 20 as a rookie. I'm just saying, like, Wembanyama obviously could launch it from 3 and could score in the paint, right? He could score from anywhere. So, and then it's fitting that, like, the last person to do it or the only person to do it is a center. So, if I were to pick a center, it would be Wemby. Any other one?
I might be leaning, like, the next guy to get the next guy to get 70 or even 81, like, possibility that hasn't done it yet, Steph Curry. I feel like he's due for a ball out game.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, just because, like, the Warriors have been very underwhelming, this could be, like, that spark. And I have a feeling Steph could do it this year. At least get 70. I'm not saying 81. But who I think, outside of Wemby, that could realistically get it, it might be one of the guys who've done it, right?
Yeah. If I were to pick anyone other Wemby, I'm going with Devin Booker just because.
I'm going with Donovan Mitchell because KD's still on that team. I think Donovan Mitchell's a guy that could. He's still the main scorer. And
yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen with him. He could be gone next year for all we know because he is a free agent, if I'm not mistaken.
Because I've seen Devin Booker drop 70. I've seen Devin Booker drop 62, whatever he dropped from this past week. Devin Booker I think is probably when hot is probably very hard, impossible to guard. Obviously,
watch it be someone unexpected, but but by realistic unexpected. I'm not saying like
it's gonna be
Ish Smith.
No, it's gonna
like Jamal Murray.
It's gonna be
I could see Jamal Murray. I could see Anthony Edwards. I could see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can
he can.
But I feel like it could be like Jamal Murray could do it. Now get it. Jokic has most of the ball, but he could just be like playmaking. Anthony Edwards is not a bad shout in my opinion.
Anthony Edwards isn't either. Obviously, we saw Kat had 62 as well. Yeah, I mean, realistically, honestly, this is who's gonna do it. LaMelo Ball is gonna do it.
Okay. He has to be healthy.
He only needs to play one game.
True. No, you're right. It's just one game.
Yeah.
But let's continue. Very quickly, comment down below who you guys think might be able to do it. I think it's a realistic possibility. 100 could be beaten within this decade at the minimum. But I'm saying 3 years. But NHL, we just have quick news. We're officially, most teams are officially at the All-Star break.
Unless you're the Ottawa Senators, who played like 10 games less than other teams, basically. 5 to be realistic. Yeah, starting off with Owen Tippett.
Owen Tippett, let me find. He signed a contract extension. He played pretty well this year. Big reason why Philly's been good. 8-year, they already locked him up. $6.2 million per year, so 49.6 total. So they did the Buffalo Sabres approach in a way. He's obviously a forward. They acquired Tippett in the Claude Giroux trade.
Yeah, and that was honestly, in order for the Panthers to get Giroux, Tippett had to go, and Philly did the right thing by asking for Tippett. Tippett is a good young player. Obviously, he hasn't really excelled in Panthers, but obviously now with a young squad in Philly, young people around him, Tippett should be one of the main pieces in that core, and he's playing like that this year. And obviously, the Flyers itself just been a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, Florida drafted him at 10th overall in 2017. I think that was the PD draft, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 2017? Yeah, I think so.
He's going to be the second highest player on the team, though, which is hilarious, after Sean Couturier.
Yeah, Sean Couturier.
The other news, signing-wise, it's Zach Parise, or Parise, however you want to call it. He joined Colorado. He did not have a team. He was last on, I think, the Islanders, if I'm not mistaken. After he got let go by the Wild, which the Wild have to pay punishment for now with the buyout.
Oh yeah, that caps, the buyout caps for the Wild, the dead cap, whatever you want to call it, is incredible.
Because they have Ryan Suter as well. But yeah, he's joining Colorado. This is a good spot for him. Give him fourth line minutes if he needs to, and just see if he could propel. Because
can you turn back the clock?
Yeah, no.
He's not turning back the clock.
But it's a good spot for him to be at.
Oh yeah,
touring wise, and just they won the cup, but just
he made the finals, right?
Who?
Prezi. Did he make it with the Devils? That
I don't know if he made.
Or was he a Wild then?
I think he may have been the Wild then.
I don't remember.
Talking about the year they lost to the Kings.
Kings, yeah, it was a Kings Devils.
I'm not sure if he was on that squad.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But yeah, so that's that signing. Just quick NHL, just standing wise, NHL tier list coming out this weekend. We're not gonna go too much into it now, but just your overall leaders, the Vancouver Canucks and the Boston Bruins are tied at the top. Colorado, Zach Parise's no team is up there. Florida, proved last year wasn't a fluke. They're up there. Dallas round out the top 5. Winnipeg falls out, but they have games in hand. They have 2 games in hand.
What's crazy about Florida is Matthew Tkachuk isn't really going crazy either.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, Sam Reinhart is going crazy. But yeah, but that could be a dangerous team as well, because if Tkachuk could pick it up a little bit more, obviously I'm not saying Tkachuk has been bad. Who knows where this team could go.
The other story is, when is Edmonton going to lose? Is this going to hurt their momentum, if anything?
Yeah.
But
probably will hurt their momentum.
I do want to ask you the last question before we close it out here quickly on the NHL side of things. Right now, no playoffs between the Nashville Predators, Seattle Kraken, Arizona Coyotes, and Calgary Flames, right? Do you feel like the 8 teams that are in the playoffs right now are locked?
Who's the wild cards?
LA and St. Louis.
Okay, I think the 3 division teams for each division are locks.
Yeah.
St. Louis, I could see falling out. I could see the Kings. I think it's just wild cards at this point. They're up for grabs. That's it. I think the divisions are locked.
So you're just saying the Kings are locked too, or no? I mean,
they're not. They're not in the division.
No, I was saying
the Oilers are ahead of them.
I'm saying wild card lock.
No. I said wild cards are up for grabs.
Okay, so Calgary is on a losing streak.
I'm not saying Calgary. Calgary has no chance.
So it's between Kraken and
Kraken, Predators, Kings, and Blues.
Coyotes not in.
Honestly, I'm on the Connor Ingram bandwagon, so yeah, I'll put him in.
Okay. East side of things. Right now, the wild card is Maple Leafs and Red Wings. Outside of the playoffs right now is the Islanders, Penguins, and the Devils. And the Capitals, if you want to go realistic there. I don't think anyone else is realistic.
No, Devils is the only one I see. Other than that, nothing
Philly
else.
Gonna fall out?
Yeah, that's the tough one, right? Because
Philly's only 4 points up on the division, because they're third in the division, right? So they're 4 points up on the Islanders and 5 points up on Pittsburgh. But they also have on Pittsburgh, they have 4 games above them. So Pittsburgh has 4 games in hand on them.
Pittsburgh have 4 games in hand. What about the Devils?
Devils wise, they have 3 games on hand. Devils have 3 games in hand.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I'm predicting Devils will make it
over Philly. Philly's out completely.
Yeah, I think Philly will fall out.
Okay, because right now the wild card difference is Detroit's at 57 and Islanders are at 52. And then Pittsburgh, obviously, like I said, they have games in hand. So does the Devils.
Yeah.
Washington, done for you?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, when Ovechkin's not playing at his level, you have no chance.
Okay. So that's just our NHL thing. Like I said, we ranked every team on the tier list. Make sure you guys check that out. Right after the Super Bowl, essentially, we're going to be NBA, NHL heavy. So, yeah. Let's end it off. Not end it off. We have 2 other things to talk about. Which one do you want to go off with?
MLB. Jorge Polanco is now a Seattle Mariner, traded from the Twins. It was a 5-player deal, I believe.
But I think one went one way.
Yeah, it was 1 and a 4.
So the trade was, it kind of caught me off guard. But
same, yeah, I did.
Minnesota Twins traded infielder Jorge Polanco to the Seattle Mariners for right-handers Anthony DeSclafani and Justin Topa, as well as prospects Gabriel Gonzalez and Darren Bowen. The Mariners also sent cash to the Twins.
Yeah, so
that cash could be literally a cent, $1, or up to 10 million.
It's for the Disciflani contract. I can't even say the name. I apologize. He was acquired from the Giants earlier too, right? I believe. When the earlier trade they made. When they got freaking, what's the name?
Robbie Ray?
Yeah, the Robbie Ray one. Yeah.
Disclafani joins the Twins without throwing a single pitch for the Mariners.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Jorge Polanco, this infielder. And when Suarez is not there, so we don't know if he's gonna plug in third base. He's more of a second base shortstop, Polanco.
He's second base, I think, playing right now.
Yeah, he played second base for the Twins, and obviously shortstop's filled by J.P. Crawford. Nobody's touching him, and yeah, so Mariners are starting to make some couple little moves here and there. Obviously, do I think is it enough for them? No, but yeah, we'll see if they if they're still gonna be able to do it or not. I don't think they should be, like, I don't want them to be done, right? Like, they should not be done. But then again, it's the Mariners. They're always like, they traded their closer away when they were in the playoff race, so you never know with them.
While you look up at other signings, I mean, okay, before I close out this conversation, great on the saddle Mariners, because they barely made any moves in terms of that could help their team out. I think this is the first one that did it. So let's see, because I was deeming them as one of the bigger losers. Obviously, they brought back Mitch Haniger, right, in the Robbie Ray trade.
Yeah.
And then obviously now they added Jorge Polanco. I still think they need another pitcher maybe to replace Robbie Ray. And yeah, so we'll see what they do. While you look up what remaining, Jock Peterson is an Arizona Diamondback.
Yeah, Jock Peterson, 1 year, $12.5 million contract for him.
I didn't expect him to get that much.
The Diamondbacks are probably one of the more W teams in this offseason. You added Suarez, you added Jock Peterson, you added one more player. I forgot who it was off the top of my head. I don't remember. Pitcher? I think it was a pitcher. I forgot who it was. Oh my God.
Right. I'll look that up, but continue.
Yeah, so Diamondbacks, one of my W teams for the offseason. Another sneaky signing, I think it could be good, is the Chicago Cubs signing former Astros bullpen guy Hector Neris. Obviously, when the Astros signed Josh Hader, you would assume one of their bullpen guys will be gone. Hector Neris, not Astros like top guys. He's not like your Brian Abreu's, but he's still a good piece out of the bullpen. And the Cubs got a decent player there. And Guardians. No, yeah, never mind. Nothing. Never mind. Yeah.
Okay, I can't find who this is, but we'll just wait on that. So there's still a lot of players still left. Blake Snell was apparently looking for a 9-year deal of up to like 200 something million. I think the Yankees offered him 6 years, 150 or something like that.
Yeah.
Matt Chapman's market is heating up now. Cody Bellinger, still no news whatsoever. Jorge Soler, linked to the Jays and other teams. I think Justin Turner's coming close, as well as JD Martinez, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, Bo Bichette straight up called him.
Yeah, literally that's what John Morosi reported. So let's see. Season's going to start in about a month and a half or so.
I found him.
Who is it?
Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Starting pitcher.
Yeah, so we're still waiting on some big news here. So it's been a slow baseball offseason. It wasn't the greatest in terms of free agency in general, except for Shohei Ohtani, who thankfully went quick.
Yeah, right.
Either way you want to look at it. But yeah, so let's see how that goes. But let's end it off with some major news from soccer, the soccer world. Off the bat, a couple of days ago, Jurgen Klopp to leave Liverpool, take time off after the season. So Liverpool manager on Friday literally told the team now he was supposed to leave even last year. I think his wife convinced him to stay, he said. But he is going to be leaving Liverpool at the end of the year. He said he will never coach in England again because of respect of Liverpool, I'm assuming. He will take a year off, but we'll see how true that is. I think he did something similar in Dortmund.
Klopp's a liar. Klopp's coaching Wrexham.
But did he do something similar in Dortmund? I think he did. Like, he left Dortmund on his own terms.
Yeah, he did.
And I think he said he was not going to coach, but he ended up coming to Liverpool instantly, if I'm not mistaken. But that's the thing.
I'm not sure about that. I know he left on his terms, like Dortmund. And so I don't know if that's because of the Liverpool job or he's just like.
I don't think the Liverpool job came after. But
okay. But I know Jurgen Klopp, his resume, he's won every single trophy. At least once.
Yeah.
Champions League, Premier League, which is the one that eluded Liverpool for a long, long time. Premier League never won, but a league title for a long, long time.
Yeah.
FA Cup last year, I had a chance of doing a quadruple. Obviously, missed out. missed out on the Champions League and in the Premier League. Came down to the match day 38 where City made that comeback over Aston Villa. Yeah. For FA Cup winner last year, Carabao Cup winner, not last year, 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
He didn't win nothing last year.
Yeah, 2 years ago was when he almost won the quadruple.
Yeah.
Yeah, last year they were pretty bad.
Yeah. His legacy, Liverpool fans obviously owe him a lot. All right, got a Champions League out of it. Yes, 2 losses out of the finals, and the Premier League's a big one, right? Now, I'm never the type of guy to say that's a Mickey Mouse one. It's a bubble.
Trophy's a trophy.
Trophy's a trophy. I'm sure we have Jeevan guys are Liverpool fans, obviously, so they were celebrating no matter what. Where does his legacy? I still think he's obviously behind Fergie. He's behind Pep. He's behind Mourinho. Is he behind Wenger? I would think so because of the longevity aspect of him. Of what Wenger
is he behind Mourinho?
I would say so. Mourinho won with Porto, man. You can't
you're talking about coaches. I thought you were talking about
Premier League. Okay, if you're talking about Premier League alone, I still think he's behind Mourinho.
I don't think he's behind Premier. If you talk about Premier League status, I think Klopp's ahead of Mourinho just because of Liverpool became dominant for that long.
I'm talking about early Chelsea Mourinho, not the later Chelsea.
Yeah, I know, but early Chelsea Mourinho was also 3 years.
I think he's 5th still. That's just me.
Overall, yeah, you could say obviously Fergie's there, Pep's there. Who else would you say again? Mourinho and Wenger.
Those are the only guys.
Yeah.
And Klopp's in the mix. But,
I would agree 5th, yeah, overall.
At least 5th, right?
Yeah, obviously if...
Because, as good as Eddie Howe has
apologize for missing anyone. Let us know if we're missing anyone as well.
I mean...
This is right out after...
consider Rafa Benitez.
This is off the top of our head.
Rafa Benitez won the Champions League, but he didn't win the Premier League, right? So that's why Klopp goes ahead there. Are you putting him ahead of Pellegrini?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what
yeah. I think Klopp.
So he's 5th. No one's touching Ferguson.
I don't know who the hell Liverpool had in the olden days.
All I remember is Benitez.
But
and
Klopp is definitely the best manager Liverpool has had.
At least in our lifetime.
In their club that we witnessed.
Yeah, that we've witnessed. But yeah, so that's the news with Liverpool. But to extend the Liverpool talk, I think it's Xabi Alonso. It makes way too much sense not to be Xabi Alonso.
All right, 2 years ago, a match made in heaven was Steven Gerrard when he was actually cooking with the Rangers.
Yeah.
But obviously that fell apart when he came to Aston Villa because Klopp was still there. Gerrard was praying that Klopp left probably 2 years ago just because he was the guy. Gerrard was going to be the guy. But I guess it was a blessing in disguise for Liverpool just because Aston Villa happened and now he is struggling in Saudi Arabia as well, Gerrard. Xabi Alonso has Bayer Leverkusen first place, and I think by 4 points.
You can still choke by all means,
but it's not even that. Who's ever in that midfield is probably
they're 2 right
thanking
now.
God right now that Xabi. They're 2 points ahead now.
Yeah.
Thanking God that Xabi Alonso is my coach because Xabi Alonso obviously one of the best
center mids
of all time as well. CDM more specifically, and yeah, so Liverpool. Alonso, Liverpool player, makes sense. Gerrard, it's not your team. It's Xabi Alonso's team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's other choices. If Thomas Tuchel gets let go, he might be an option.
I'm not convinced.
Ten Hag gets let go, he could be an option.
Obviously, you shouldn't be. Okay, Ten Hag is not an option.
Who knows? I'm just throwing names out there.
Tuchel, it's Xabi Alonso. I'm be mind blown if it's anyone else. The only way it's not Xabi Alonso if he's I want to stay with Bayer Leverkusen, but. Reports came out saying reports came out saying that Leverkusen has given Xabi Alonso free reign if a bigger club does.
No, for sure. I think he's gonna be Liverpool's next coach.
No, there's no way. Tuchel's not gonna get the job done. Tuchel's been getting fired himself after every 3 years.
Tuchel got wrongfully fired by Chelsea though.
Oh yeah, he got wrongfully fired by Chelsea, but he's doing terrible with the Bayern Munich. He has been. Ten Hag obviously is no chance, and it's Xabi Alonso.
Yeah, unless you want to say Zidane, but.
Yeah, I don't think it's Zidane either.
Who else is available, right? I guess Antonio Conte is the only other one.
Yeah, but I don't think.
Yeah, Xabi Alonso, he ain't gonna coach Barcelona because he was a Madrid player, right?
Yeah.
I doubt he'll coach Barca. Pressure's gonna be on if it is him because we've seen. I don't know how much you consider him a club legend, but outside of Zidane, club legends haven't done well when they come back to their club.
That is true.
Lampard, Solskjaer.
But at the same time, players who are good players just don't do good manager-wise,
Xabi Alonso.
except for Xabi Alonso
At the moment.
and Zinedine Zidane.
But the problem is, you can't say Xabi Alonso is in a rebuilding situation, right? With Bayer Leverkusen, you would say. When, like you said, Rangers did well with Gerrard. Smaller club.
No.
One of the bigger clubs in Scotland, but it's still a smaller club to the rest of the Europe, right? Rest of the world in general. Derby County had Lampard, if I'm not mistaken, right? Lampard did well with them. That's why he got the Chelsea job, and he struggled.
Yeah, no. Bayer Leverkusen is a bigger club than both of
He
those.
went to Everton and struggled there too.
Right. The thing is this: Lampard and Gerrard did it in Mickey Mouse leagues.
Yeah.
Bundesliga is a legit league.
It is, yeah, for sure.
Right.
So
this is a legit league.
for sure.
And he's ahead of Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Right. Who has run the league for the last 10 years.
So let's see how he closes out the year, but I think it makes too much sense not to be Xabi Alonso. That's all I gotta say. We could be completely wrong. We thought Vrabel was gonna be the Patriots coach. We were wrong there. So we'll see with that.
But this one was more convincing.
Yeah, this one seems more convincing.
Like, there's no other option, right? Like, with the NFL ones, there's many options.
Yeah.
This one is genuinely zero
Unless
options.
we're just blanking, but
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I don't see anything else.
another news that came out. To close out the Klopp talk, he could still finish out on top, right? They're very much in the They're not in the Champions League. Sorry, they're very much in the league to win, essentially.
Yeah,
and they're in the
obviously.
finals in the Carabao Cup.
They're in the finals of the Carabao Cup. They're first place right now in the league. Europa League, they're very much in that as well. And then the FA Cup, we'll see how they do.
Yeah. Other news in the soccer world, again, massive news. Same vibe, different sentiment though. Xavi, speaking of club legends who haven't done well, I guess, has decided to leave Barcelona at the end of the season. He has come out and said there was a lot of, it's time for me to leave, but at the end of the year, essentially saying like he sees the stuff in the media and stuff. It doesn't it is in his head. Obviously, he did it in Qatar at the Qatari league. He was fine there, but again, to your point, Mickey Mouse League compared to La Liga. And, a good buddy of ours, C-Mac, who runs Apex Academy, he's constantly putting out Xavi out on Instagram stories and stuff like that. Big Barcelona fan, obviously Messi fan as well. Yeah, I think it's the right move. I think he could have been he could have just left now if he wanted to, because they're struggling in the league now.
They've been struggling.
And they have players there. It's not like they have excuses of that. And on top of that, they have the Champions League wise, they were okay, but
they're still in it.
still in it.
I think they won the group, right? I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
they won the group. They're fine. This is one of their better Champions League runs.
Yeah, but it's flipped though. Usually
It's flipped because Xavi, they won the league last year, right? They did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Xavi has its ups and downs, right? Like Xavi had his good moments. No, like you cannot deny that. But this year, when it comes to managers and coaches, you already know it doesn't matter what the hell they did in the past. It always matters about this year. That's why we've seen Vrabel get fired. That's why we've seen freaking Monty Williams get fired last year by the Suns. That's why we've seen Ten Hag in the news, and now we've seen Xavi.
Yeah, like it's very Solskjaer-esque because Solskjaer wasn't that bad, Ole.
Either, yeah.
But he got fired because the results weren't coming. In this case, the standards are high, right? Look what happened this year to Adrian Griffin. So,
Exactly, yeah, that's a big one too.
So we'll see what happens. This is where the Klopp tie comes in, though. Even though Klopp said, this is why I'm saying, that's why I was asking you the Dortmund to Liverpool question. Klopp is very much tied to coach to Barcelona now because of it. And it makes too much sense. But again, Klopp, if you want to take Klopp at his word, he said he ain't going to coach next year.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to be Germany's next coach, though.
He's
going to wait for that
That is
opportunity.
definitely true. If history repeats itself, Liverpool goes to Barca. Liverpool players go to Barcelona. We've seen Luis Suarez, we've seen Philippe Coutinho, and potential coach could go to Barca in Jurgen Klopp.
One of them flopped it, one of them killed it. The difference in the players.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll see what happens there. It's definitely interesting. Obviously, where there were reports, like false reports saying it's Mikel Arteta.
Because reports came out that Mikel Arteta.
But Mikel Arteta's like, screw that, I'm still Arsenal.
Yeah.
And
Who knows though? For now, but
no, he's still Arsenal.
I think he will be Arsenal still because he was an Arsenal player. But because of the Spanish link, right?
But he is Arsenal.
So who do you think will be Xabi Alonso's an easy lock for us? Do you think it will be Klopp or do you think they'll just go someone else? Because
Barcelona,
ever since Enrique, they've been on the Man United style.
They can't really. obviously if I'm Barca, I'm definitely going after Klopp as much as I can possibly.
Yeah.
He's definitely up here in coaching, right? He's one of the best to do it.
Do it better than Pep in his own club.
Imagine, right? That like if you want to overtake Pep, do it without all the money bribes as well. But yeah, other than that, the only one, I think that's the best bet. I think Tuchel could get the job there as well. I think Tuchel could have decent run with Barcelona. Yeah, other ones I can't really think of. The only one outrageous one I will just say just because we're jokes, Lionel Messi. But yeah,
No, he's coming to Vancouver. I doubt it, but he's still playing. So yeah. Last thing, just very quickly to close it out. Transfer window has been dead.
It's January.
Quiet. Like no, but you usually saw like Gakpo go last year.
It's because Chelsea. That's the only reason why it's
True.
not.
Yeah, like
I don't think Chelsea.
Nothing big has happened. Like now they're saying that Pellistri is going on loan. This guy's going on loan. Man United can't do shit because of the FFP rules that they're actually following on Lake City. Yeah. So like nothing else to really say. Right? Eric Dyer left.
Nothing, right? Chelsea don't have the funds. They can't do anything.
They probably do. They just they don't want to get caught.
Yeah, no, they're probably going to skip a year.
So yeah, like nothing much going on there.
Yeah. So that wraps up today's pod.
Yeah, it was a fun one. We had a lot of fun topics. Check out maybe some clips we might drop from this week. Check out the YouTube shorts, everything like that. Please make sure UFC fans, boxing fans, check out the pod with Nick Baldwin from The Score. It was a banger. It was so fun to talk to him that we might bring him on again soon. Maybe every pay-per-view event. Let's see.
Make it a monthly occurrence.
But once again, we appreciate everybody. Thank you guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.